Yesterday, an article came out titled, "China Switches Strategy from Stacking Gold to, quote, take all the silver, sticking it to US short sellers and market riggers." Someone tweeted 2 days ago, April 11th, "My wife is in China. She speaks and reads fluent Mandarin. She told me last night that Chinese media is writing articles and recommending silver as a better investment as gold gets more expensive." This week's deals from Miles Franklin are 1 ounce 2024 Eagles 550 over spot. We also have 90% constitutional silver, dimes and quarters 275 over spot, and 10th ounce gold Eagles $51 over melt. We have a massive inventory, all great prices. Text, email, or call slayer@milesfranklin.com. I'd be happy to help. And now let's get into the video. Folks, I'm going to share something extremely important and interesting with you all. So make sure you stick through this entire video because it only gets crazier. This is exactly why I say subscribe, not for my sake, but for your own. Because this is an article you probably would have never seen. And this article would have been swept under the rug, never to have seen the light of day. And I tried to expose these things and get as much information out there as possible. Right now, China is doing something interesting. They are taking all our silver, saying, okay, you guys want to hold down the price? Well, we will take advantage of these cheap prices, buy all of it, and then let the prices do what they naturally do and what they're actually valued as, which we all know is much more than just a measly $28. Reddit apes started the silver squeeze movement, but we ain't nothing. It's all about China and their unified focus. Watch TikTok fuel the real silver squeeze. But Silver Slayer, what does that even mean? Well, it means something much bigger than a lot of people can probably even comprehend, including myself. So Wall Street Silver were the guys that got rich off GameStop and AMC. Remember that back in the day? Well, they took all that money, all the profit they made from that huge scandal, and put it into silver, forming Wall Street Silver. Well, in early February of 2021, Wall Street Silver did a silver squeeze, basically buying all the silver and taking it for delivery, squeezing the market, trying to squeeze the natural price out since we know the price is manipulated. But they're saying the silver squeeze ain't nothing compared to an entire country, right? Because the silver squeeze were a couple of people compared to an entire country. There's levels to this. And if Wall Street Silver could push the price up to $28 within a couple of days, well, what do you think an entire country could do? One of the wealthiest, if not the wealthiest, most powerful country in the entire world. There's levels to this, and that's what they're talking about. So there are 1.4 billion Chinese citizens. Just starting this week, the Chinese government is advertising and telling its loyal people to buy silver instead of gold. Their orders in the past year were to stack gold, as were reported in November 2023. Silver and gold stacking is the cornerstone of their crafted and clever strategy of economic warfare, right? They're playing chess, we are playing checkers. We are a beginner checker player, and they are a grandmaster at chess. Not saying I hate America. I love America. I'm a US citizen. I'm just saying the facts, that they are strategically implementing things that we are either oblivious to, ignorant to, or are on board with in a very sinister and we don't even have to go down that rabbit hole. But anyways, that's just the truth. The BRICS nations are doing something that is definitely taking over on a global scale. They understand that U.S. bankers, the Federal Reserve, and the Silver Institute have all been rigging silver's prices for decades despite dwindling silver inventory. The silver shorts in the West are at very high levels. The three silver riggers mentioned above executed and prompted these shorts. So here are some of the takeaways from this article. So gold is up 20% in 2 months. Silver is up 27% in 1.5 months. This is a massive return. Investors in the West do not believe silver is the move. So margin calls will rush short sellers. Silver miners' prices levels are at a fifth of where they stood at in 2021, which is talking about the Wall Street silver movement. Silver is also historically undervalued to gold. Shanghai's price of silver is $32 per ounce, over that. This is the magnet pulling U.S. silver prices higher. Now go back at the beginning of this article and you will see how the Chinese-Russian strategy, silver wars, works. You know, and it really does make sense. And not even just at a silver, a price thing, not even just talking about silver's price or even trying to stick it to the short sellers. This is a much bigger game plan. This is a much bigger picture for several reasons that I can explain briefly because I want to get through this article. So the BRICS nations, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and many other countries, they are creating their own digital currency backed by physical commodities, cutting ties with the dollar. Russia actually did completely cut ties as we keep sanctioning and holding people's gold from them, taking years to, you know. Of course, they're going to say, greedy little Americans, get your fingers out of our pockets. We don't want anything to do with the dollar anymore. We'll use oil. We'll use something else. And that is what has officially happened. Andy Schectman has talked about this. But it's bigger than that. Because yes, their currency is going to be backed by physical commodities like gold and silver. But there's also other things at play. For example, the Belt Road Initiative, which is the largest infrastructure project ever, which is connecting with railways, trains, boats, anything you could think of, canals, highways, all connecting these countries together. Remember, we're trying to go green. Well, these countries are wealthy because of oil. If we are detaching ourselves from oil, then of course, that's also going to piss them off. But what if they were to take all the silver so we can't go green? Because it is a fact that we don't have enough silver to go green, and that is because of the massive silver shortage. And if they are going to be taking all the silver, which India just imported 260% more silver than the previous year, their imports were up 260%. India is in the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, Russia as well. Why are all these countries buying massive, and I mean massive amounts of silver? And now China is as well. It's like they know something. If it's not for the Belt Road Initiative, if it's not for backing their currency, or if it's not for taking all of these precious metals so we can't go green, I mean, all of the above, maybe is their game plan. Maybe it's not just as simple as one thing. Maybe it's all the reasons. Maybe it's all the things, and it makes sense. I mean, they're playing chess. So anyways, that's just a theory of what I speculate on. But anyways, they look at they go into the Shanghai Gold Exchange and looking at silvers and gold hitting all-time highs. Well, gold did, and then silver's up over $32. And then you see right here, here is editor's note. So when you hear these lying S-bags on Capitol Hill discussing a TikTok ban that has nothing to do with Chinese spying, they fear the Chinese stacking silver and gold frenzy will spread west even to U.S. Gen Z, further eroding U.S. dollar standing on the world stage. I personally don't think that's the reason that they're trying to ban TikTok is because of silver. I mean, there could be plenty of reasons. Maybe they just don't want, our competitor having our largest app that we are in control, that they're in control of. I mean, maybe there's several reasons. Maybe it's not as simple as just one thing. Now, you might remember the Silver Academy. That's the same site that exposed the U.S. Defense Department raiding our own silver stockpiles and how military uses so much silver. Now, I'm going to be making an entirely separate video about this, but they posted this article titled Global Silver Report, More Silver is Used in Aerospace and Military Than Solar. Well, why is this so important? That's because solar is the largest sector for silver in our annual numbers. It's solar, PV cells, photovoltaic cells, batteries, silver lithium-ion batteries. It's all solar. But military and aerospace, if used in more silver on annual numbers, is massive because the Silver Institute doesn't even incorporate military or aerospace in our annual demand. They don't incorporate military or aerospace at all. All the silver that's used in that those two sectors is non-existent in our 1.2 billion ounce annual demand. So the silver shortage is even much bigger than we think. If this case is true. So I'm going to be diving into this as a separate article in a separate video, but I wanted to show that. They also have talked about silver ripping to minimum of $30 and as high as $35 before pullback. Goes into NASA to launch 3 rockets during the solar eclipse. Silver, the key to space travel, which is definitely true. They talk about a lot of stuff. They talk about a lot of different stuff. Mike Durenzio corruption scandal, silver price fixing, new investigation into gold price fixing. I mean, there's a lot of rabbit holes and different types of rabbit holes to dive into when you're looking at silver or corruption or manipulation or price rigging or the silver shortage itself or where all this silver is going when it's being bled down out of the COMEX and then the COMEX itself and all of that, how the silver institutes incorporated with them are going to JP Morgan and all this spoofing they're doing. And there's so much when you talk about this. And right here, trickle down turns into trickle up. The next era of late stage capitalism is really Wall Street socialism. Then going into the iShares Silver Trust held in New York, JP Morgan also being reported in the COMEX, which I was just literally talking about. That's funny they mentioned that. But yeah, folks, silver rabbit hole runs deep. The silver shortage is much worse than Silver Institute reports. Silver Institute sponsors are now emailing Silver Academy, we can't keep up. So folks, yeah, the whole point is that you got to be informed. Silver is something that has many different layers to it, and I've been trying to pull back all the layers, but it's like a never-ending onion that goes into a black hole, because even when you get to the core of the onion, you enter into another dimension that has even more layers to the onion. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned because I'm really looking forward to diving into this article, the Global Silver Report, more silver is used in aerospace and military than solar. And why this is so important is because they don't even incorporate military and aerospace or the amount of silver used in those two sectors in the annual reports in the Silver Institute. So if this is true, then that is massive. That is massive. Then we really don't know how big the silver shortage is or what the numbers are, because if we already are setting record-breaking supply deficits without military and aerospace incorporated, with just, you know, the solar and EVs, then that's much more than 1.2 billion ounces. With a 190 million ounce supply deficit last year, and record-breaking supply deficits actually the last 2 years, and in the foreseeable future is going to be more record-breaking supply deficits, then these deficits are much more than just a couple 100 million ounces. We're talking about something huge. So anyways, yeah, folks, stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe. Stick around. I got a giveaway I'm doing soon, jumping out of an airplane in the next week and a half probably, so stay tuned for that. My entry video is still live. If you want to purchase silver, slayer@milesfranklin.com. Yeah, anyways, thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys later today or tomorrow. Peace.